All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, want to give all glory and praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash, the honors to the apostles, and the elders of Great Millstone, honors and salutations to the hopeful elect, pushing this word through sincerity. All right, this is the brother Tawab Rakah from GMS Los Angeles / In the Empire, come back with another video in the spirit. And once again, Tawada Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, for my eyes to this truth, allow me to wake up another day, putting the spirit on me to do another lesson, in hopes that edifying the hopeful elect. Okay, so in this video, what I want to go into is the only way Israel is going to unite. Now, when I say Israel, I'm referring to the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. It's through this word, it's the elect. Okay, because you got a lot of BS madness going on between the southern tribes and the northern tribes, and even within the southern tribes that's opposed to one another, as well as the northern tribes that's opposed to one another, and the scriptures speak about these things. These are curses that fell upon us for being disobedient to the Lord. The curses were, basically Israelites are going to have evil eye towards one another, which I'm going to get. Okay. And very, that's one of the many curses that fell upon us. Well, like I just said, for rebelling against the Lord, but now the Lord has a remnant. He has, his elect that's waking up to this truth, okay, and he's closing up those breaches. He's bringing all the tribes back together through that small remnant. Okay, that's the only unity that's going to be among the tribes. Okay, because that shit that's of the world, that's not going to work. Okay, you still calling yourself black? You got these dumb niggas calling themselves foundational black Americans. That's just another byword proverb. Okay, the fact that you call yourself black shows you that you lack understanding. Okay, and that's why there's no unity, because that's not our heritage, man. Okay, that's not what the Lord created us to be. He didn't create us to be, black. Okay, like I said, those are curses that fell upon us that for being rebellious towards the Lord. Okay, so the point I want to get across in this video, the truth is the only way. The truth is the only way to the tribes coming back together. Okay, you calling yourselves black, Latino, Native American, those are not your nationalities, man. Now, we say those terms in order for you people out there that watch these videos, so you can understand who we're speaking about. But that the Lord didn't give us those names. Our oppressors gave us those names. Okay, and you still under that. If you still going on by those names, that means you're still under that vibration of those names. Okay, and we understand 2/3 of our people, they're not gonna get it. They're gonna remain in that state of darkness, because that's what it is, darkness, until the Lord come back and destroys this place, man. So this is really only for the elect out there. So I'm gonna get right into it. And once again, I pray this is edifying to you, sincere brothers, as well as you few sisters. All right. So the first scripture I'm going to start with is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15. It says, "But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, thy power, to observe and to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. You see? So right here it's saying, the law, statute, commandments are found in the Bible. Okay. Because we have what you call the dietary law. Okay. Well, which is things were to eat and things that were not to eat. Okay. Not worshiping other gods, creating idols to worship. That's idolatry. That's wicked. That's off. Okay. Committing adultery, sleeping with your neighbor's wife. That's off. That's wicked. Okay. Sleeping with certain your family members is wicked. Is off. Okay. Incest. Because you got a lot of sick ass Jakes out there that do incest and worship other idols, worship other gods. Okay, Jake getting tattoos. Okay, that's wicked. That's off. Okay, when you look at the majority of the tribes, majority of our people, they're committing all these sins, which the sin is transgression of the law. Okay. And this is why we're in the condition that we're in. We're on the bottom in this society as a whole because of that rebelliousness, man. Okay. So I'm reading this to show you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. This is why, all this evil has happened unto us because you Jakes out there continue to be rebellious towards the Lord. Okay. And I'm gonna read some of the curses because it's mentioned. If you don't observe the words of the Lord, those curses going to come upon you. So I'm gonna read a couple of them, and I'm gonna continue with the lesson. It says, I'm gonna jump down to Deuteronomy 28:37. It says, "And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whether the Lord shall lead thee." You see that? So we're known as a proverb and a byword. They call us niggas, spicks. Okay. Call us Negroes, so on and so forth. All these different names that our oppressor has placed upon us. That's what we're known as among all these different nations. Okay. But if you're a Jake, if you're an Israelite and you still going by these terms, you still going by these bywords and proverbs that were placed upon you, you're going to be under that vibration of those terms. Okay, so-called black culture, so-called Latino culture. Okay, which is not your culture. Okay, that's not our culture is in the Bible. The Israelites, Hebrew Israelites, that the Hebrew Israelite way of life. That's our culture. That's how we're supposed to be living. But under this current captivity we're in, we're not able to, keep all the laws, that's written in this book. But we do acknowledge that we're Israelites, and we do try to honor, the laws that are within our control. We do it to the best of our ability. We try to keep the Sabbath to the best of our ability. We got the Pesach coming up. We're going to hold that to the best of our ability. Okay. So we are, putting forth actions, to show the Lord, that we believe and have faith, but overall we know we can't keep all the laws perfect. Right. But the point is right here saying, us being known as a byword and a proverb, that's one of the curses. Being called a so-called Black American, that's a byword and a proverb. That's a curse. So-called Jamaican, Haitian, okay, Mexican, Puerto Rican, Guatemalan, all these different terms. That's that was placed upon us by the oppressor. Okay. Because when you read the scriptures, when the scriptures mention Our people, it doesn't use those terms. It uses Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Ephraim, Manasseh, Gad, Reuben, Issachar, Asher, Naphtali. Okay, that's what you're gonna hear when you read the Bible, when you read these scriptures. Okay, that's who we really are. That's our true identity right there. Okay, and see, in all this division among the tribes, Esau is behind all this bullshit anyway. They set up these different sellouts among our people to push these false narratives. Because Esau, he really thinks he's gonna upset prophecy. He really believes that he's going to stop the elect from coming together, which is too late. The word didn't already went out. This truth didn't already went out. Okay, this internet, this with all this information traveling at an all time high, traveling quickly, at an all time high. Esau can't do nothing about this, man. Okay, he can't hide his dirty little secrets anymore. Okay, because everything is moving quick, So you got our people waking up fast to who they are, and Esau, mainly these elites, I'm really referring to. They see what's going on, so they're trying to counteract, what the spirit of Yahweh Shemel Shai is setting up on this earth, and Esau can't do nothing about it. Okay, that's why these devils are getting nervous. That's why, they're gonna come down with that great wrath. Okay, let me get back to it. It says, jump down to 54. It says, so that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil toward his brother. You see that? Because at one point in time, like it just said, the Israelite men were tender among one another, meaning they were, it was, that it was that affection. They had great affection towards one another. They had love for one another. You saw a fellow Israelite. You was in a cheerful spirit, but now Jake doesn't have that loving kindness towards one another. It's just straight hatred. So once again, this is showing you, one of the curses that fell upon us was that hatred between the tribes, because that goes for all 12 tribes. You got Judah, that's hatred within the tribe of Judah. It's hatred within the tribe of Benjamin, hatred within the tribe of Levi, Issachar, Ephraim, so on and so forth. Okay, and then you got the hatred from one tribe to the next tribe. Okay, because these are the results of not following after the voice of the Lord. Okay, this is the consequences. Okay, but like I said, the Lord is bringing that remnant, that small remnant together. That's what the kingdom is going to start with. It's going to start with the elect. That's where the unity starts right there. Okay, you're not going to have unity, by going after, going under these titles that were placed upon you, because there's always going to be division. And the only thing that brings us together is this truth, the word, because this is our heritage. This is what this was what Moses, the Most High, used Moses to to break this stuff, break this down to Israel. It says, so that man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil toward his brother, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall lead. Right. That's why you have a lot of households that have no fathers in them. Okay, that's again another one on the list of things that will happen to us for not obeying the voice of the Lord. Okay, so a point I wanted to bring out in that verse was that man, the Israelite man's eye being evil towards his brother. So that's why when you go amongst some of the tribes, okay, you can feel that animosity, you can feel that hatred, okay, and vice versa, okay. When we out and about, we see 2/3 of our people, man, we don't want to be around our people because our people are wicked. They're on that wicked ass vibration. They're on a very super low vibration. So, if it's possible, we try to keep our, distance from these niggas, man. Okay, because Jake is up to no damn good. Majority of our people. But hey, like I said, that's the beauty of this truth, because the Lord is bringing us all back under that umbrella, which is this word, and now we're seeing true unity. Okay, we're starting to see the spirit in which we're supposed to unite in. Okay, we're supposed to be uniting the spirit of truth, not of the things of this world, man. Because the shit that's in this world is not going to unite us. It's going to divide us, man. Even Jake intentions may be genuine. They may want to, unite, but it's going to eventually, those things that they're trying to unite on is going to fall apart because it's not of the Lord. It's not of the Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Okay. All right. This is Psalms chapter 133 verse 1. It says, "Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity." And that's the brethren that's in the faith, in the truth. They ain't just talking about any old Israelite. This is talking about the Israel of the Most High. Those that know, that's in the know. Okay? It says, "It is like the precious ointment upon the head that ran down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard that went down to the skirts of his garment." Right. So this is a pleasant thing in the sight of the Lord when he sees the true brethren, okay, those that are, returned back to the Lord, that have repented, that's beautiful in the sight of the Lord, okay, because the brothers, they know they Israelites, okay, we know we the Lord's people, we know, the things that are pleasing unto the Lord, okay, and we're all in together. We're all in agreement. Okay. Like the scripture say in Amos, can two walk together except they be agreed? Okay. So that's the true unity right there. Okay. Not black and brown unity. Okay. Not, these different civil rights movements, and groups and all that Jake got in the world. That's not going to work. It never has and it never will, because that's not the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, man. Okay, that's not the covering of the Lord. That's a covering of another spirit, man. Okay, which is why you tribes are in chaos, man. Okay, just a ball of confusion. All right, I got another one. This is Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 33. It says, "Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go." You see that? It says Judah and Israel were oppressed together, meaning the so-called Negro tribes and the so-called Latino tribes, which are, the natives. Okay. We are oppressed together. in this society. It's no coincidence why when you go to these different, especially here in the states in Babylon, when you go to these different ghettos, you got the southern tribes and northern tribes that dwell among one another. You know, even like out here, me, I'm a brother that grew up in the L.A. area. L.A. is very segregated, because L.A. is we're a little more spread out, as far as from a density standpoint, where brothers that's out east, things are more condensed, but out here things are more spread out. Okay, but even then, me when I grew up out here, we always had the northern tribes among our areas. In our neighborhoods, we always shared the same neighborhoods. We had to share the same stores. Okay, share the same schools and whatnot. Okay, as long as I can remember, as long as I've been growing up, I've always seen, mainly primarily the tribe of Issachar, but we also have the tribe, tribe of Zebulon, okay, and Gad out here, but the point is, we were oppressed together. Esau didn't put hell on all of us, and he's still putting hell on all of us. And look what's going on with this whole ICE situation, man. Okay, which the Lord, that's the spirit, because a lot of you tribes, man, you come over here and you talk shit about the Negro tribes, and don't get me wrong, you got some grimy niggas, you got niggas that are wicked as fuck. That's I'm talking about these so-called Negroes, the tribe of Judah. You got these wicked niggas in Babylon that's proud and puffed up and think they shit don't stink. I'm not, negating that, but a lot of you northern tribes, okay, come over here and you have this mindset that, the so-called Negroes are lazy and, and we're a bunch of criminals and, but here it is, the so-called white man is calling you an illegal immigrant in your own land. They stole your land from you. I mean, he didn't just steal it from you. He butchered you. He slaughtered you. Okay? Had his way with your women. He's still having his way with your women and our women too. Okay? But you have no energy for this damn devil. You on a job, you kissing his ass, you all buddy with him, but you got an evil eye towards the southern tribes, which I just read, that's the curses that fell upon us. But y'all getting y'all rude awakening now, man. With this whole ICE, and it's gonna get worse. ICE ain't gonna be shit compared to what the Lord got, coming down the pipe. That's just the tip of the iceberg, man. Wait till all hell starts breaking loose in this society when there's really lawlessness out here, man. A lot of you tribes gonna get mauled through, man. Especially those of you that's not covered under the blood of Yahweh Shai, you're not under the hedge of Yahweh Shai, you're gonna be through out here, man. And that's why us, brothers that's in this faith, we say, Lord, we always say, Lord willing, we always say that term, hopeful elect, because we hope to be of the elect, because the elect is going to be the ones that's, protected in these times, okay? The ones of you that still want to go under that umbrella of being a black, Latino, and American, you're basically still you're basically still in that congregation of the dead. You're a bunch of dead, spiritually dead bodies walking. You're the dead walking dead. Okay, you still calling yourself black, Latino, Native American in 2026? You're a dry bone. Okay, which means you're dead. All right. I got another one. This is Matthew chapter 12, verse 46. All right, it says, and while he yet talked to the people, behold, his mother and his brethren stood without, desiring to speak with him. Then one said unto him, behold, thy mother and thy brethren stand without, desiring to speak with thee. Right, and this is an account with our Lord Yahweh Shai when he was out among Israel and he was speaking, you know, and they told him his mother and his brothers was looking for him. You know, they wanted to talk to him. But this was Yahweh Shai said. It says, but he answered and said unto him that told him, who is my mother and who are my brethren? And he stretched forth his hands toward his disciples and said, behold, my mother and my brethren. So what Yahweh Shai was saying is, you know, those that do the will, those that know the truth, that's seeking after Yahweh Shai. Okay, that's the family. Okay, that's the fam. That's who we're supposed to unite with. Okay, we're not supposed to unite with Jakes that you know that's not that doesn't believe in the same thing that we believe in, man. That's not in agreement in agreement, you know, in which the ways that we walk. Okay, like I mentioned earlier, can two walk together except they be agreed? Okay, so we don't agree on the same power. We don't agree on the same doctrine. Okay, we got to go our separate ways, man. Even with among these different Israelite camps. Okay, you got these camps that's teaching wayward doctrines. We not in agreement with them. Okay, so we go our way, they go their way. Okay, but the point is, Yahweh Shai just said it, man. Behold, my mother and my brethren. All right, it says, for whosoever shall do the will of my Father which is in heaven, the same is my brother and sister and mother. You see that? So those that do the will is Yahweh Shai's brother, sister, mother. Likewise with us. Okay, so if you're not coming in this spirit, then you're a heathen unto us, man. You're a stranger. Okay. So like I was saying, you know, in the opening of the video, you know, this is the true unification. Okay. Unification is only going to come through the truth. It's not going to come through the ways of this world. It's not going to come through, like I said, these different social groups. It's not going to come through hip hop. It's not going to come through all this carnal bullshit out here, man. It's going to come through the truth of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, man. Do this true doctrine. All right. This is Ephesians chapter 4, verse 1. It says, I therefore, the prisoner of the Lord, beseech you that ye walk worthy of the vocation wherewith ye are called, with all lowliness and meekness, with long suffering, forbearing one another in love, in devouring to keep the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. There is one body and one Spirit, even as ye are called in one hope of your calling. See, one body, one Spirit. So we're supposed to be one, meaning in agreeing. We all supposed to believe in the same thing, have the same mind, same belief. Okay, and that's what's going to keep us together. You know, because outside of the truth, outside of the word, brothers have different spirits. Brothers have different ways of looking at things, and brothers have different ways of going about how, you know, handle certain matters. Okay, brothers have their own minds, you know, when it comes to certain things, you know, but one thing that we can all agree on is this doctrine. And that's what we all have to agree upon. We must agree upon is the doctrine, the truth. And that's where the unity. That's where you get the unity. Okay, that's why our brothers is able to, come together and hold camp together. Brothers that didn't grow up with each other. Brothers, because all of us at one point we didn't know each other. There's some brothers in the camp that was on the other side of Babylon. And them brothers is out here, and brothers live with each other. And that's all through the belief. It's all through the belief of the truth. That's the true unification. That's the only thing that can unite the tribes. Okay? All that other shit is gonna cause envy, strife. Okay? Because like I was mentioning before, the animosity between the tribes, because the scriptures speak about Judah vexing Ephraim, and Ephraim envying Judah. And the Lord is ceasing that through the elect. Okay? It says, one Lord, one faith, one baptism, one power, and Father of all, who is above all and through all, and you in you all. You see that? So this is the only unification. Okay, it's not going to come by you Jakes calling yourself black. Okay, and you Latinos, which we're different shades of brown anyway, but you like you so-called Latinos, you still stuck on stupid. Okay, you think a lot of y'all think y'all Edomites, which a lot of y'all may well be not the tribes, but you got tares among our people too. You got tares among the southern tribes, and you got tares among the northern tribes. Okay, but I'm referring to you Israelites. Okay, you northern tribes think that you're Edomites, man. Y'all really believe that. And when that time come, a lot of y'all gonna be ashamed, man. When the Lord returns, man. Okay, and you southern tribes, you niggas too. You niggas that continue to uplift that fucking Caesar Borgia image, man. Okay, that white porcelain god. You niggas that keep uplifting that, y'all gonna be ashamed, because y'all gonna realize that you've been living a lie your whole life, man. Okay. I'm gonna get one more and wrap it up. This is 2 John chapter 1 verse 10. It says, if there come any unto you and bring not this doctrine, receive him not into your house, neither bid him Godspeed, for he that biddeth him Godspeed is partaker of his evil deeds. And see, this is why we don't go on these different other platforms, because Jake is on that shit, man. Okay, when you look at some of these podcasts with some of these Southern Kingdom and Northern Kingdom, they all about division, man. Okay, they talking down on one another. Okay, they're basically spreading that spirit of hatred, man, towards the tribes, and those of our people that's ignorant, that's not they're not spiritual. They're gonna get caught up in that. They're gonna get caught up in that web of confusion and lies. Okay, like that whole FBA shit. A lot of Jakes is being swayed by that, man. Not even realizing that the people you talking down on, that's your people too. Okay, the so-called West Indians, Haitians, those are our people, man. Those are our brothers and sisters. Okay. Now you got a lot of them that talk shit too about the southern tribes, but like I said, the Lord is gonna do away with all that, man. Because the 2/3, the majority of our people that remains in that lower state, they're gonna be destroyed any fucking way, man. Okay, that's not gonna work on the elect. Okay, Because the elect ain't gonna be sitting there, going to these damn platforms, sitting around a bunch of niggas that still call themselves black and Latino and wherever the hell they call themselves, man. Okay? That's just a bunch of damn confusion, man. And that's why the Lord said it, man. He said he was gonna smite our people with astonishment and blindness and madness of the heart. Because Jacobs is fucking gone, man. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So like I said, I pray this was edifying to you sincere brothers, as well as you few sisters out there. Stay strong, keep fighting, man. We're almost out this bitch. So with that, I'm gonna give all glory and praises to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem HaKodash, the honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, honors and salutations to the hopeful elect, which is word of true sincerity. Shalom.